Let me know when you're ready. Everybody good? Yeah, well, good afternoon. Before I start, I'll introduce everyone, at least here with me, and hopefully you guys all know each other. I think I know a lot of you. I'm Spencer Collier. This is my wife, Melissa, and this is my attorney and friend, Kenny Mendelson, who was kind enough to let us use his office today. If I had any idea of the size of the turnout, maybe we'd have found something a little small, a little bigger. I appreciate you guys making it work. Again, thanks for coming today. I'm going to read a brief statement, and then I'll try and answer a few questions. Keep in mind, Kenny is my attorney, and I'm going to listen to my attorney. He said don't answer something I'm not. Before I start, I want to point this out. Everything that I'm about to tell you, I am willing to say under oath. I am willing to say in front of a grand jury with my hand on the Bible, and I challenge the others to be willing to do the same. I know the events of the past few days have been hard for my family. It's been hard for the Bentley family. And most of all, it's been hard for the people of Alabama. My career has been dedicated to public service and law enforcement. I am proud to have served honorably for over 15 years, twice receiving a governor's commendation for service beyond call of duty. I was honored in 2010 to be chosen as Governor Bentley's Director of Homeland Security, and then in 2013 as Alabama's first Secretary of Law Enforcement. And I fully believe that I served in both positions with honor and integrity. I was proud to serve alongside men and women who every day put their life on the line for the citizens of Alabama. Unfortunately, Governor Robert Bentley, who I considered a close personal friend for over 15 years, within the last several weeks, made the decision to terminate 4 hard-working law enforcement employees whose only crime was to do their job, to follow the law, and they were loyal to me. Another 4 law enforcement officers were transferred for the very same reason. It is not fair to these fine men and women. It's not fair to me. And most importantly, it's not fair to the people of this state. My relationship with Governor Bentley was positive for the better part of almost 15 years. As I mentioned earlier, I considered him both a close personal friend, and in fact, at times, I even looked at him as a father figure. I saw the first sign of change in Governor Robert Bentley in August of 2014. I became aware of a text message that was sent from Ms. Rebecca Mason to Governor Bentley. The text message was accidentally intercepted by Governor Bentley's body man, his personal security. That man was Sergeant Stan Stabler. Sergeant Stabler accidentally picked up Governor Bentley's cell phone as he left it in the Suburban. And on the cell phone, there was a text that was sexual in nature. Sergeant Stabler brought that to the attention of his supervisor at that time, which was Chief Wendell Ray Lewis. Chief Lewis then brought the complaint to my attention. This was in early August. The convention was August 1st through 3rd in Point Clear, Alabama, at the BCA conference. During that same week, in fact, on August 5th, Chief Lewis came into my office and played me parts of an audio recording in which Governor Bentley and Rebecca Mason were participating in an inappropriate sexual conversation. The tape was brought to my attention by Chief Lewis, who received it from a Bentley family member. A member of Governor Bentley's family was on the phone with Chief Lewis while the tape was being played in my presence. On that same date, on August the 5th, at approximately 5 o'clock, I dismissed Governor Bentley's security detail that day, and Sergeant Lewis and I took over Governor Bentley's security and drove him to Greenville. There was a political event in Greenville. During this trip, I made a statement to Governor Bentley, and I'll repeat it to you. I told Governor Bentley that I loved him like a father, and there was nothing I wouldn't do for him, except lie to a grand jury. I made Governor Bentley aware of the recording that I heard. I told Governor Bentley there was no need to try and explain it for anything other than it was. It was very obvious that it was sexual in nature. Governor Bentley simply hung his head and asked for advice on how to get out of it. At that point, I explained to Governor Bentley it would be a crime if he has used state resources to facilitate a relationship, or if he used campaign funds to facilitate the relationship. Governor Bentley assured me that he had done neither. At that point, Governor Bentley gave me his word that he would terminate the relationship immediately. I left Governor Bentley at Greenville with uniformed troopers at that point and returned home. At 6:30 the next morning, and phone records should be able to validate this, Governor Bentley called me on my cell phone and stated that he could not go through with it and end the relationship with Mrs. Mason. I again reiterated to Governor Bentley what the law was and advised him if he did the things I mentioned that he would be committing a felony. From August of 2014 until the present, it has become apparent to me that Rebecca Mason has wielded a level of influence over both the governor and state government that I have never seen in all my years of public service. That includes serving almost 9 years in the state legislature. I have received complaints about our actions from law enforcement, government officials, other cabinet members, and members of the Bentley family. At the end of 2014, Governor Bentley made it clear to me in no uncertain terms that from that point forward, anyone that questioned Rebecca's influence would be fired. In early February, I informed Governor Bentley that ALEA was investigating an allegation into improper conduct involving the Attorney General's office. Special Agent Jack Wilson, who worked in special investigations and intelligence and who has a record that is impeccable, was assigned to do the investigation. Special Agent Jack Wilson conducted the investigation and concluded nothing improper was done by the Attorney General's office. On February 16th, I met with Governor Bentley, his legal advisor, David Byrne. Rebecca Mason was present. The governor's personal attorney, Joe Espy, was present, as well as members of my senior staff and my staff attorney. I made Governor Bentley aware that the Attorney General's office had requested an affidavit, and that both myself and Special Agent Wilson would be submitting an affidavit as it was part of our job and our obligation as law enforcement officers. Governor Bentley instructed me to tell Matt Hardy, the Attorney General's office, that ALEA's investigation was still ongoing and not to do the affidavit. That was untrue. The investigation was done, and we had concluded it. The following morning after that conversation, the governor's legal advisor, David Byrne, worked with my lawyer on editing an affidavit that was eventually submitted to the Attorney General's office. On February 16th, or at the February 16th meeting, both Rebecca Mason and Governor Bentley were both furious with me and my staff regarding the submission of the affidavit. Both Rebecca Mason and the governor yelled and ridiculed both me and my staff in the presence of the governor, in the presence of non-law enforcement